Anton Fransch was born and raised in Bonteville in the Cape Flats. Anton was loved and respected by many who knew him because of his kind heart in always putting other people first, and also because of his fearlessness at such a young age. After being inspired by Ashley Creel, Anton would go on to become one of the greatest freedom fighters to have come from the Cape Flats. That's a fact. In seeing the hardship and struggle of his people, he developed a ferocious appetite for politics, and he would mobilize thousands of young people in Cape Town's fight against apartheid. At the age of just 17, this young colored man from Modderdam High would go on to receive specialist military training in Angola and prove himself to be a gifted leader and MK guerrilla soldier that the apartheid special forces would never forget. On the 17th of November 1989, while living in a rented room in Athlone, the secret police surrounded the house where Anton was in. The police took up positions on every side of the house, cut down bushes, and ensured they had a clear line of sight to the young colored man that was so revered that they would need a small army to take him out. Just after midnight, they attempted to enter the home, but quickly retreated, having only removed the Noordin family who also lived in the house. You see, Anton wanted to ensure that the family was safe, as he knew that this fight was his fight for them and all his people that were still oppressed. Anton had no intention of surrendering, and it may have been for two reasons. Firstly, he knew they would probably kill him in detention like they killed his hero Ashley Creel only 2 years earlier, who was also from Bonteville. And secondly, he may be tortured to the point where under that excruciating duress, they may do everything to get him to betray his comrades, which is exactly how they received information of his location in Athlone. So, armed with only a pistol and an AK-47, while surrounded by about 40 heavily armed policemen, Anton van die Bontas waited for them to make their move. The apartheid police attempted to convince Anton to surrender. Following his defiance, at 12:30 a.m., they opened fire. And as expected, this young colored man who believed in the liberation of his people and all South Africans fired back, and he fired back hard. This would continue for several hours. And after about 7 hours of trying to kill this young activist, the only way that 40 men could stop one man was with a bomb. A grenade was thrown into the room where Anton was, and the battle for Athlone was over. This young colored superhero that Marvel never gave us said something in the midst of that battle that should inspire every young person today who's facing adversity or anything else. He laughed at them and said, "Ko haal my as julle kan." When the police tried to get him to give up and even shouted to him, which showed their true intentions, "Kom uit jou vark, vandag gaan jy vrek." What Anton would reply became the hallmark of his resilient spirit. His one reply is a war cry to you and me, that when you are faced with injustice, when you are faced with hardship, when you are faced with sickness, when you are faced with a global pandemic, when you are faced with the biggest storm in your life, when you are faced with people that don't know you but want to talk cack about you, when you are faced with people that want to cancel you as if they were the ones that gave birth to you, as if they went through what you went through, and even when you are faced with death, don't run, don't give up, don't fear, don't lose hope, but just like Anton that stood there, Manalin, know who you are, know what you're fighting for, and let them know, "Ko haal my as julle kan." The saddest part of Anton's story, and so many other young colored activists that history and even our own government forgot, is that young colored men today have guns in their hands to destroy and take away the lives of other colored people. But our true heroes had guns in their hands, handcuffs on their wrists, fists in the air, and the African soil on their graves to uplift, empower, and liberate their people. So on this Youth Day, ek sê dankie Anton. Ons staan vas.